This is lesson 1, and I'm not sure what part it is. I think this is part 6. All right, so we're going to double click our rotation tool, type 45 for angle, and then click copy. Make sure you hit copy. Step 6, click object on the menu bar, point to transform, and transform again, which is the shortcut key for that is Control D. Repeat step 6 to create a 4th ellipse using the transform again command, or hit Control D, which I hit Control D. Select the 4 ellipse tools, so you need to go back and click on your selection tool. One of them is already selected. I'm going to press and hold Shift, and now it's important to make sure that you only get the ellipse tool, the ellipses, and not the square. So I know that each of them are selected because of the blue anchor points are highlighted, and I know the yellow square is not rectangle, is not selected. So we're going to click Object on the menu bar and then go to Group. Click. All right. Page 156. We need to first deselect. You can click in the scratch area. And then we're going to select the star. So go under the ellipse tool and click on the star tool. And then click anywhere on the artboard, but I'm going to click on the red area because I know I'm going to have to put that star in the red area. Type in radius 1. You're going to type 1. Type 5 in the radius 2. And then type 5 in the points text box, which we already have 5 on there. And then we're going to hit OK. Double click the scale tool. Wait, because it's way too big. Double click that scale tool, and we're going to take this down to 25%. 25%. And then hit OK. Okay, fill the star with white. We know it's selected, so you need to click on the fill and come over to your swatches panel. Click on white for your swatches panel. Click on your selection tool and move the star so that it's completely within that red square. You can try and center it the best you can. I'm going to go ahead and double click on my hand tool so we can see that a little bit better. Okay, then we're going to double click the reflection tool. That's my timer to turn up my kiln in my basement. Okay, so we're gonna click on your reflection tool. See if I can find it here. I think it's hidden underneath your rotate tool. So here's your reflect tool. And go ahead and just click once on the reflect button. All right, so we need to double click on the reflection tool. And then we're going to choose the horizontal button as shown in figure 64. And then hit OK. And notice the star now looks like it has 2 legs and a top. Okay, click on your selection tool. Use the selection tool or the arrow keys to position the star roughly in the center of the red square. So you can, I'm gonna, whoops, I have my square selected. So now I need to click on that star, and you can move that star around to get it to where it looks like it's in the center. Mine was pretty much right on center. Okay, so figure 157, it says click on, first we're going to deselect, and now we're going to click on the polygon tool. So click and hold that star and then drag down to where your polygon tool is. Click on your polygon tool, then click anywhere inside of the blue square. You're going to type 1.5 for radius. Type 3 for sides. And hit OK. Fill the triangle with red. Our fill is already in the front, so now we need to come over here and click on red. Change the stroke to yellow, so you can click on that stroke to have it come forward, and then go back over to your swatches and click on yellow. For points, for the weight for the stroke, we're going to type 22. Hit enter. Position the triangle so that it's centered within that blue square. And let go. And save your work. And we're finished with basic shapes. Move on to page 161, and it has us go to back to our files, go back to Canvas and open up file 1/4. It's going to download it. So you can click on here and go to open. All right, here's 1/4. Click view on the menu bar. But first I'm going to go to object. Well, we'll go to fit artboard in window. Okay, so we went to view and then fit artboard in window. Now your book tells you to go to view on the menu bar, then deactivate the smart guides feature. So you want to go down to the smart guides and click on it so the smart guides are now gone, which means that when we hover over anything, we're not going to get those blue lines. We won't get the intersect button or the little guides that tell us if we have something in line, all of that. Sometimes it's nice to turn those off because they can be a little overwhelming. And you guys will figure that out when we get into deeper projects. So we're going to select the green polygon with the selection tool. Convert, okay, click view on the menu bar. We're going to go to view and then guides. And make guides. Okay, so that turned into our guides. And then we're going to convert the purple star burst into a guide again. So we're going to click just on the purple star burst. We're going to go to view and then go down to guides and make guides. Click view on the menu bar. And then point to guides. And verify that there is a check mark to the left of the lock guides, which there is not. Well, there's no lock guides on mine, so I'm assuming that that means that they are locked. Okay, so one of the differences between our book, we're gonna find that there's gonna be some really slight differences. The guides are locked, which is why it's not coming up. Okay, yeah, they're locked because I can't select them. Okay, so now we're going to click on the direct selection tool and then click the edge of the red square. and then click and drag the anchor points of the four corners to the guides of the distorted square. But before we do that, you need to make sure you click on the individual anchor point. Notice that individual anchor point has a little dot next to it. It's also filled in blue with blue. So we know that we can click that individual anchor point without moving the entire square. Same thing here. Watch what happens when I click it. I know it's selected because of that little dot, and it's also filled in with blue. And now we can take it to have it fit our original, our green polygon guide. All right, so that's what you want to do. And then you can look on your book on page 161 to make sure that your picture resembles the picture that they have shown for you. Okay, so we're going to move on to page 162. It says using the direct selection tool. So we do have the direct selection tool selected. Click the center of the light blue star. So if we click on the center, we'll have the majority of this. We have this, all of the anchor points selected in this object. Click Object on the menu bar, and then point to Paths or Path, and then we're going to go down to Add Anchor Points. Click the edge of the artboard to deselect the star. Then click the edge of the star. Make sure we click right on that edge line. Okay. All the anchor points turn white and are available to be selected independently. I actually have one that's selected, but that's okay. We'll just leave it. Move the top anchor point on the star to align with the top point of the guide that you made earlier. So first I want to make sure I have it selected, and then I'm going to click and hold my mouse and drag it up. Okay. Working clockwise, move every other anchor point outward to align with the guide, creating a 10-point starburst. Okay, so every other one you're going to click and drag. Okay. The next number 6 on page 162 says select and move any of the inner anchor points to modify the starburst of your liking. So here's where you can take this, and if you want to adjust this to see what you can come up with, if you want to do something like that, you're welcome to do that for this project. Okay. All right, so we're going to move on. We're now on page 163. And let's go ahead and deselect that starburst. And click the Expand Panel button at the top of the tool panel if necessary to display the tools in 2 rows. I have mine in 2 rows already, so if you're just using 1 row, then you can click this double arrow so that you can see all of the tools next to each other. Note the 4 objects in the bottom left quadrant of the artboard right here. The blue oval is at the back. So notice the stacking order. All of this has a stacking order. Click your regular selection tool. And what I'm going to do before I go on and manipulate this is I'm going to end this video. And we're going to begin again in our new video.